Hello and welcome back to You Are Good Enough. This is your host, Kimberley Bell, author, YouTube person, podcast, and we're becoming more conscious. And today we're talking about, I'd like to throw out an idea, and this is really, it's about parenting, and I want to talk about why it's important or what are the benefits of us healing ourselves and offering that to our children. So why healing yourself heals your child, really. There are a lot of us going through changes and shifts and all kinds of things in our lives right now. And one thing for sure is that we are now in this energy where we can no longer sit idle in our lives and go into a place of denial, if you will. And let's face it, facing things is uncomfortable and it takes more effort, right? More work. It feels more challenging, and above all, it feels awfully scary and can feel very sad. And I remember really well while I was going through my awakening, and what I was aware of that I was thinking, realizing that a lot of things would change. Mind you, I wasn't thinking about parenting at that time because my life was blowing up, right, if you will. And that's what typically happens. During that time when we're brought to our knees, we make gigantic shifts. And a lot of people on the planet at this time are waking up. And I'm talking about parenting today because a lot of parents don't want to do the work, their inner wounding work, their healing work, their heart work. However, as we're moving into this energy of consciousness, we're going to realize that what I can offer for myself, I can then offer to others. And that's really powerful when it comes to parenting. If we want to grow emotionally happy, healthy individuals, then we must realize that the beginning of their life starts with us if we're the parent. That's where everything begins in a child's life. And the more that we're moving into this conscious energy, we're going to start realizing, oh gosh, I want to be the best parent that I can be. And many of us actually have said that, right? But what that is actually changing because our consciousness, we're becoming more awakened to the fact that much of what has happened in our lives, with other people, in our world, in society, has actually been very different than what we're waking up to at this time. For example, many of us on the awakening journey realize that, material goods don't feed my heart. That's not really what's going to sustain me. That's really not what's going to make me happy anymore. And, I've talked about this with relationships. What I thought I valued and I was really looking for in a relationship is going to change over time, especially if you're going, well, I shouldn't say especially, if you're going from an unconscious person and you're moving into the conscious energy, you will absolutely experience, there's no way you cannot, because your relationships are an extension of really who you are, right? It's your vibration, it's where you are emotionally, it's the level of emotional intelligence that you have, and we choose our partners based on wherever we are. So when it comes to parenting, I would like you to open your mind up to the fact that when you heal yourself and when you do the inner work for yourself, you're actually able to heal your children wherever they are. And if they're just now being conceived, then they will grow up in a household with you where they can actually experience a strong foundation of deep love and compassion and all of these things, because we're not raising our children while we're more of the wounded person, right? The wounded child or the wounded warrior, whatever you want to call it. The ego is really what I'm talking about, because the ego, if it's running the show, it leads us to places of worry and fear and, trying to catch the sky before it falls. So if a child is born into the energy where a parent now realizes truly what's important and what's necessary for creating a happy life and a happy internal world within a human being, it's going to be a very different experience. So, kids learn how to be in life just by watching us, right? They focus on what you say, how you say it, how are you in relationships, how do you treat mom, how do you treat dad, how do you treat, grandparents, friends, what kind of person are you, what do you say when it's just your family, are you gossiping about other people, are you blaming people all of the time, and how are you dealing with your feelings? Are you a parent who's really frustrated and you have low tolerance and you get explosive and you go into rage? And if you do, that's just a sign that you've been wounded along the way. And what can happen is we become very overtaxed by life. And everything comes up in a moment, and we even if we're 45 are having tantrums, right? This is the way it goes. We're a child until we're able to love ourselves enough and heal the wounds from the past so that we can step into that wiser energy, right? The parent energy. So it's really important to start looking at parenting through this lens so that we can really make a huge shift for humanity and start to co-create conscious human beings. And I want to also mention that this is powerful no matter how old your child is. Okay, my kids are adult children, and now that I am conscious, of course, and I wasn't that for a good part of their life. Now I am that. So I'm still doing the work that I'm offering you. And it can be done. The healing can happen with your children no matter how old they are, is what I want to tell you. So here's really what you can offer your child by doing your inner work. You can offer them a solid foundation, right? And they will know that they can count on you in the household, okay? I guess I'll make an aside here. You know how it is, and I'm going to be doing multiple podcasts on parenting and being an adult child, because this is the foundation of where all this begins, okay? But just for an example. So many of us listening to me right now have probably experienced being more of the adult than their actual parent. So we've been, our parents didn't do this on purpose, but a lot of times they might put us into a position of, it's confusing too, of actually making us more of the parent than them, because they haven't realized there's another way of doing things. So by stepping into your healing journey, you can actually, your child can feel like they can really count on you. Well, that's one way that's really huge. You can help them form a solid foundation because they're really clear about who's the parent and who's the child. And a lot of times with, addictions and things like that, the roles can get very muddied. because oftentimes those of us children who've grown up in, alcoholic families, we realize that we play the role of parent maybe more than mom or dad do or did. Okay, so that's one place that you might be able to identify with this. So that's one thing that you can actually offer your child. You can go to a depth of love with your child because you are beginning to learn how to love yourself. You can't give to others that which you don't first give to yourself. And so just by the very nature of healing and love and loving ourselves, we can offer a deeper love to our children. And that just makes for a stronger bond. Imagine if you had grown up with a parent who was actually emotionally healthy, they were sure about who they are, they weren't worried about everything in life, and they were able to express themselves to you. And that's how I want you to start thinking about this. Because our children are experiencing a lot of the same things we did when we were children, especially if we haven't done our inner healing work yet. You can also offer your child a lot more compassion, right? Throughout the years of their lives. Instead of your ego getting in the way and needing them to perform a certain way or look a certain way, you can allow the child to be who they are, and you can actually be more present for them with their triumphs, and things that they feel like they've messed up along the way. You can actually be that encouraging, loving voice that says, you know what? You did the best you could. This is what happened to me when I was a kid, right? Instead of competing with your child, right? If you're competing with your child, that is a clear wound that you didn't get the love that you so very much need. And you are the person, you're the answer to that equation and that healing process. It's your responsibility to do this healing for yourself, because mom will never do it the way that mom should have or could have. Same with dad. It doesn't matter who it is. We're here to be that for ourselves, which we have not yet had. We're here to love ourselves in a way that no one else is able to, because everybody else is here doing their life too. And you know what it's like to do your own life. So remember that you can't always be, you can try to be that for everybody else, but bottom line is we don't want to expect the unhuman of other people for us, because that takes them away from themselves. And if we start going and taking care of the needs of other people more than our own needs, then we are really getting far away from ourselves. And that leads to a lot of frustration, happiness, depression, anxiety, you name it. So I want to say that, yes, we can be more compassionate for our child when we're able to love ourselves more, because we're able to be more present with them as well, right? Presence is huge. And if we've done our inner work, we're not worried about a conversation from earlier today. We know and we value ourselves so that we can get to things later in their own time, instead of having all the worries of the day be with us 24 hours a day, which is really a difficult way to go through life. And we all know what that's like. So, you really have the ability to grow and to nurture your child. You absolutely have the ability. You just have to start realizing that you need more love. You need more patience. You need more kindness. You need everything that you wish somebody else could be for you or do for you or say to you. We're here to be that for ourselves. So I just wanted to stop in. I'm beginning this conversation with you. I'm also going to be putting this on YouTube. So, I would like to invite everybody to stay in my energy. Please subscribe, please like, and that way, you'll get updated. And I try to do everything weekly. So, what else did I want to say? I guess that's really it. Let's start thinking about how to make these changes. And remember, I always say we can make these changes in a very small way. All it takes is, if nothing else from this podcast or this video from today, take away the fact that you came here to do the work for yourself, and think about the kind of parent that you can actually become, or the kind of mentor that you can become for other people in your life. But most importantly is it's for yourself. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much.